We're so grateful you're joining us here at Church Unleashed, where we are on a mission. We are one church with 2 locations, helping people unleash their full redemptive potential in Jesus. If you have any questions or like to learn more about us, simply head over to our website at mychurchunleashed.tv. Your growth is important to us, so stay connected throughout the week by downloading our My Church Unleashed app. It's something we created just for you. Our app is available wherever you download your apps from. Remember, you matter to God and us. Enjoy this week's teaching.
Today we want to talk a little bit about a problem that we feel is hitting the church at large today. It's a consumer-driven faith. We're going to talk about consumer-driven faith. So how many people here have had the joy of going to a car dealership? Everybody shared in that joyful experience where you just wake up in the morning. Sometimes it's like a Saturday, you got a family, like, guys, load it up, we're going to the Honda dealership. That's what we're doing today. We had tickets for Adventureland, but we're going to the dealership because that is going to be more fun. And you get in there, and you're going through everything, and you're negotiating. Anybody good negotiators? We got all you guys, when I need another car, we're going. You go through the whole experience, though. You know exactly what you want. You know exactly how much you're going to pay for what you want. You know everything that you need. You need the sunroof, or do you need the moonroof? Do you need the panoramic roof? Do you need the roof that like rotates with a disco ball? Whatever you want, you're going to get that roof. You know what you need. You know the perks. You know the throw-ins. You know what I'm talking about? Free oil changes for the life of the lease. You know, like free car washes. I want the whole thing. Give it to me, and give it to me now. And if not, we got a problem. But finally, you're in the car dealership. You get the price that you want. You settle. No money down. $199 for the Lexus. We're good. I'm ready to go. I'm happy. I'm excited. Text the wife. I got this thing done. It took 6 hours, but I got it done. We're good. But then, who do you go see? The finance guy. You step into the office, and you see the finance guy. More issues come up. Like, well, we had it for $199, but what happened was we looked at your credit, and it's 1 point below where we need it to be for the top tier with the platinum tier, top tier people. But you're in the gold. You're still good. You're still in the gold top tier, but you're not in the top tier. You're in the bottom tier of the top tiers. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise that to $299, and we're going to give you no oil changes. And now you're like, all right, forget this. You know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm walking out. I'm done. I don't need your car. I don't need your dealership. I'm going to go find another dealership. You get ready, you walk out. You're waiting for somebody to beg you to come back. You get the famous line. Listen, sir, I'm sorry about all this. What will it take? Everybody knows. What will it take to do the deal today? You look good in this car. I want to see you drive off the lot in this newly washed and waxed car. What will it take? You're like, you know what, I don't know, this and that. And now you're playing the game. Consumer versus conglomerate, and you're in this thing, you're the consumer. How many times have we done that with church? Where we'll come into church, we go church shopping, we go to the church dealership, and we try each church out. So you know what? This church has all the ministries I want. At exactly the right times I need them to be, on the days that I need them, because it fits my schedule the best, and all that's great. But this one has the children's ministry is split up in a way where my kid will feel safe and comfortable in every possible thing. You know, they have prayer at 6:30 a.m. every day. This is the church for me. You know, the pastor wears suits and his jeans are intact, and I actually I was using hand sanitizer before, and I put some on my knees just because I could. Is that cool? Anybody else ever? So, just pray for me while I'm speaking. The church is getting bigger. I hardly know anybody now. I don't know if this church is for me. I don't need what you have. You know what? I'm just going to go. I'll find another church. And you're waiting for the pastors and the staff and the guest relations captains and venue control to be like, no, Bobby, come back. Listen, what will it take to keep you in this church? And we've developed a consumer mentality at church. And sometimes that gets in the way of what God is trying to do. God say, listen, I got the best deal for you. God's not a dealer, man. He don't have to deal. But God say, I got the best thing for you. I got the best car. I got the best thing that's going to take you from A to B. This is what you need in your life right now. You need this consistency. You need to be here. You need to, but I'm not so sure. I'm going to go to. And we get consumer mentality. I need this. I need that. I need this. And sadly, church life has become about me. It's become about my needs. It's become about my family. And it's very important for you as people to take care of your family. That is one of your top ministries. Take care of your family. I understand that. But sometimes it becomes so much about me that our vision gets like this. And all we see are the things that inconvenience us. All we see are the things, man, I wish they didn't do one Elevation song today. I'm out of here. They do too many Hillsong songs. Whatever the thing is, right? You can get as silly as you want to get with that, but sometimes we only see the things that we don't like as opposed to the things that we should like, the things that are great, the people that are receiving Jesus every single week, the way that the church is growing, the 10 connection cards we got last week, meaning we had some first-time guests in the place, the phone calls that we make to all these people, the counseling that's going on, the marriages that are being restored, the worship team that's growing, the guest relations, all this stuff, but instead we see, Bible says this, Jesus said, if any of you wants to be my follower, any followers of Jesus in the house? That's what I'm talking about. This is the right church. Any of you want to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways, take up your cross, and follow me. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like consumer mentality. That sounds like cross mentality. It's a little bit different. Jesus tells us 3 things in this verse that we have to do to be a follower of Jesus or not do. First, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. In other words, don't live with consumer-driven faith. Be a contributor. Make a difference. It's not about me. It's about others. It's about the greater good. It's about the church. It's about this person sitting next to me, that person, that person. It's about the people. I'm on the parking team because when they come in, I want them to see somebody who cares about them. Second, pick up a cross. Get ready to do something. It takes action to follow Jesus. It's not good enough to just say, yeah, I follow Jesus. And you just sit on it for the rest of the week. Come back to church. I follow Jesus. You sit on it the rest of the week. Come back to church. Movement is required. Mission is vital. Mission's what keeps you going. If you have a clear vision, a clear mission, like this church does, that's what keeps you going when the cross that you're carrying gets heavy. Simon of Cyrene, who carried Jesus' cross, that was a heavy couple pieces of wood. It wasn't like one of those, it wasn't like this. Okay, Jesus, I got this. We're good. I can go as far as you need me to go. That was like 2 legit, heavy, full, not hollow, not dead tree trunk deals that they put together. That was a heavy, what kept him going? He knew the mission at the time. He had to get Jesus where Jesus needed to go to become everything that Jesus needed to become. He knew the mission. And the third, you got to follow Jesus. Wherever Jesus goes, I'm going. Wherever Jesus goes, I am going. Whatever the heart of Jesus, whatever has the heart of Jesus should have our heart. Whatever has the heart of Jesus should have our heart. And Jesus said it like this too. If you do not carry your own cross and follow me, you cannot be my disciple. Jesus was real. People look for drama all over the place. I mean, you just read the Bible and you'll just see. But Jesus was real. Here's what we can't miss, though, in this verse. You can't follow Jesus without a cross. You can't follow Jesus without, that means you need to, there must be more than just bare minimum, consumer-driven, I'll just get by faith. There's got to be more. There's got to be mission. There's got to be action. There's got to be, I'm going somewhere. There's got to be one foot in front of the next foot. Someone once said this, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. A life of following Jesus is not about what I can consume. It's more about what I can contribute to the kingdom of God. Anybody follow me so far? Let me tell you about a little story. This weekend we went to a wedding in New Jersey. Garfield, New Jersey, I think it was, just like the cat, or Oakland, New Jersey, I don't know, somewhere in that area. A beautiful wedding, we're there, this, that. yesterday, the wedding finished late, so we stayed over. In the morning, we went to breakfast. Then in the afternoon, we go out. Gina, myself, my wife, and I, for those who haven't met us yet. But we want to explore the beautiful streets of Hoboken, New Jersey. That's what we decided to do. We decided, you know what? We're in Jersey. People call it Dirty Jersey, but we want to find out for ourselves what's going on in Jersey. So we go to Hoboken. We go down by the Sinatra Boulevard over there and the River Walk and all this stuff, which is beautiful, by the way. We're overlooking the cityscape from the other side. We're seeing things from the other side. And we're over there, and we're walking by. And my wife's amazing for a lot of reasons, but I'm kind of walking. I got my shades on. I'm feeling good. I went to a wedding last night. We had a good time. Watched a longtime friend get married. Yay, they're happy. I'm going straight. And then Gina's like, there's a homeless guy over there. We should go do something. I'm like, come on, man. I'm on vacation. And I'm like, I'm going. But sometimes you get the urge you got to fight the urge, right? Sometimes you think like, man, I'm here for me. I want to just enjoy. Look this way, though. There's such a beautiful view this way. Let's look this way. So I think we should do something. I say, you're right. But I want to make this more than just, here's a couple of bucks. I want to make this more than, hey, let me go buy you lunch. Let's have a conversation. So we go over to this guy. His name's Eddie. We talk to Eddie. And it turns out both his parents had passed away a year or two ago. And he lost his house. And he lost the next living situation that he was in. He couldn't get a job. And he's telling us all this kind of, and you start to understand a little bit about this young man. He was probably in his 40s. About this young man's life, about his story. There's a story behind the face, right? There's a story to every face. So we find out about his story, and he's showing us, his legs are swollen from sleeping outside in weird positions, and he has tumors on his body, and he's got all these different types of things, and your heart breaks for Eddie. And you're talking with him, and he explains the situation, and we're like, hey, listen, man, this is all we have. We gave him $5. I mean, it's not like I gave him $1,000, but I gave him $5. I said, hey, listen, this is what we have. I hope this helps a little bit. Maybe we can get you some lunch. Or he's like, man, I can maybe go down and do some laundry with this and get some clean clothes. I really appreciate that. And while we're doing that, we're talking to this guy, just being real, being humans, having a conversation with someone who probably hasn't felt like a human being in a couple years. Another young lady comes over. She had walked past us. And then I think she did one of those, I'm hoping she did one of those, man, if those people who look normal are talking to this guy, maybe I could help. She turns around, she gives, hey, here's $5. I just hope, he's like, oh, this is great. This is going to be lunch for tomorrow. And you have a conversation. We got to pray with Eddie, sitting on a park bench in the middle of Hoboken, overlooking the Empire State Building, billions of people on the other side doing whatever they got to do. And we get to pray with Eddie. And we get to have a moment with him and talk. And you notice I'm not wearing my Hope Dealer bracelet because Eddie is wearing my Hope Dealer bracelet today. So I gave him a little bit of hope. But God has called us to contribute. And very easily, just because I'm a pastor doesn't mean that I didn't have thoughts of, let me just walk by. This guy probably did this in his own, he probably screwed up. He should have had a job by now. He could have done. You get thoughts. I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. I'm not Jesus. But you got to take a second to see the world around you. And Gina said this one thing, and she's like, we just want to let you know that we see you. And so many people don't feel seen. And it's our job. You can contribute to the kingdom in so many ways. One of the ways we contributed was so simple. It took us 8 minutes. Eddie liked to talk. It took us 8 minutes. I gave him a friend for a little bit. And that's one of the ways we got to contribute to the kingdom of God by encouraging someone. He goes, let me tell you this story really quick. He goes to a church over there called Hoboken Grace Church or something. He had the bracelet on from there too. It was pretty cool. But a weekend or two ago, they were doing they were bagging lunches to feed to all the homeless people around the area, Hoboken and even in New York City, I think. And you know what he did? Instead of going there for food, he went there and bagged 10,000 lunches for homeless people. How cool is that? I was like, dude, you are a walking, sitting sermon. I'm using that tomorrow. And if Eddie can do it, a homeless guy went and prepared lunch for other homeless people. He didn't go and he didn't take all the food. If I would have been tempted to can I get 8 of those bags? Guy's just hoping to get somewhere off the street before winter comes. And he went and he goes and he does this thing, man. We are called not to have consumer-driven faith, he could have had buts in his seat. He could have said, but I need the food, but I don't have any, but my feet hurt, but I have tumors, but I can't walk to the church, but I can't do this, but I can't, my hands don't work as well anymore, but I used to do this, but. Instead he said, you know what? I'm going to contribute. I know what it's like to be in this situation. I know what it's like not to have lunch. I'm going to go out and I'm going to help somebody else, man. Contributors encourage. Consumers complain. Contributors celebrate. Consumers criticize. Contributors sacrifice. Consumers hoard. Contributors work together. Consumers compete. Contributors serve. Consumers take. Contributors give. Consumers buy. Contributors love people. Consumers love things. And that's the biggest difference, man. Where's your heart on people? Do you love people? Do you care about people? And in that moment, we were able to care about somebody. We were able to love somebody. Let that be an encouragement to you, an example. And trust me, there were so many people that we wish we could have given to, but we would have literally had zero money left. But you try to help people. You just want to see people. Matthew 10 says this, if you refuse to take up your cross and follow me, you are not worthy of being mine. Can somebody say, ouch? Thank you. Just making sure you're still awake. If you refuse to what? Refuse to contribute. If you refuse to contribute to the kingdom, you cannot be a follower. See, one of the greatest problems that the church has today is we have way too many consumers and not enough contributors. I'll give you Church Unleashed statistics as an example. We have about 800 people that call Church Unleashed their home in and out of every Sunday for a month, whatever kind of a thing, over the course of the month. About 185 volunteers. That's less than 25%. So less than a quarter of the people that come to Church Unleashed volunteer. So you can see right in our very own home, we have a consumer mentality. 75% of the people that come here consume. How is this going to help me? How is this going to help my week? Again, that's good. I want you to get everything out of this that you possibly can, not from me, but from him through us, right? I want you to get as much as you can, but I also want you to give. There's something that happens when you give. The feeling when we gave to this gentleman, when we talked to him, and we made him realize that he was a human again. That feeling, I can't get that anywhere else. That feeling is so good. The feeling that when we have a conversation here at the church, when we're doing a service, when we see you worshiping, when we see you getting involved, when you're doing things and you're helping other people, that feeling is amazing. And when you give of yourself, you get so much more in return. Let's talk about a guy you probably heard about before in the Bible. His name's Jesus. And he selected 12 guys. He had his original 12 disciples, but he also had 72 additional disciples. And he sent them out in pairs, but he said this, the harvest is great, but the workers are few. So pray to the Lord who is in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send more workers into the fields. Notice he didn't say spectators. He didn't say, ask him to send more consumers so we can give to more people. He knew the job was big. He knew the task was great, so he knew we needed more workers. And that's why we have to understand that nothing is ever fun when you do it halfway. Nothing is ever fun when you do it halfway. Have you ever started a book in the middle? It's not as exciting. What's the backstory? Why is this character weird? What's going on? Why did he murder that person? What books are you reading? Have you ever watched a movie and then shut it off when you get to the good part? They're about to fall in love. The kiss, it's coming. The team's about to win. They're in the final drive. The quarterback drops back. That's not fun. When you do things halfway, it's not fun. It's not exciting. I think service and love for God is exactly the same way. If we just come to church, that's like shutting the movie off at the good part. The good part is coming to church and putting a guest relations shirt on, putting a venue control shirt on, grabbing the name tag, holding one of those signs. That's the good part. The good part is using your talents to be up here with our amazing singers and leading our church in worship. That's the good part. The good part is running our AV and our camera system and making sure the chairs are straight and the seat backs have connection. That's the good part because you're contributing. You're helping someone else reach their good part. You're giving a first-time guest an experience like they've never had in church anywhere else. That's the good part about being in church. That's the good part about your life. Anybody ever heard the more you put in, the more you get out? It's like anything in life. It's like going to college. If I would have put in a little bit more, I would have graduated a couple years earlier. That's a true story. The more you put in, the more you get out. Deuteronomy says this, "And now, O Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul?" How many verses in the Bible say, any other version say half your heart and half your soul, 3/4 of it, 1/4 of it, a little bit of it, the Tuesday part of your heart every other day? All your heart and your soul. Real service comes from two places. One, your heart, which is where belief happens. And two is your soul, which is where behavior happens. Belief plus behavior equals blessing. Belief plus behavior equals blessed. I get to live a blessed life when I just declare my belief in Jesus. That's cool. But when I behave like Jesus, that's when my blessings come. When I behave like Jesus, that's when God just opens things up. And it's like, this guy's doing it. Boom, I'm going to pour out on this guy. That's what, or this gal. That's what happens. Have you ever been bored in your relationship with Jesus? Have you ever been disinterested in church? I'm going to challenge you that maybe it's because you're doing it halfway. Maybe you're not excited in the morning to wake up and read your Bible. Maybe you didn't set your alarm 15 minutes earlier. And let me tell you, that's not always easy. It's a struggle. I just want you to know that when I wake up in the morning, there aren't like angels singing. The Bible's not already turned open. They're not like, they haven't highlighted my verses to read with like a holy highlighter. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, that's not how it works. Sometimes it's 6, 6:30, 7 a.m. It's whatever it is. Let's be real. It's 7 a.m., 7:30, 8 o'clock. But sometimes it's like, man, snooze. But I need to get up. I need to do it. Sometimes you need to make a choice. But when you make a choice to love God, when you behave like Jesus, the blessings are endless and countless. You know, research shows that people with the following symptoms, depression, bitterness, jealousy, anger, fear, apathy, they may be developing something called half-heartitis, where you're only doing things halfway. Where you do things halfway, you get terrible feelings on the inside. Sometimes people wonder, man, I can't get out of this funk. I can't get out of this funk. Maybe if you gave your whole heart and your whole soul, your whole mind, your whole strength to Jesus and his call for your life, maybe you feel a little bit different. Maybe you'd feel love. Maybe you'd feel peace. Maybe you'd feel joy. Maybe you'd feel kindness. Maybe you'd feel goodness and all those amazing things. And if we want to discover that life fulfillment, then we have to find a place to contribute. Find a place to contribute. The Bible declares this: we have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. It's one of mine. I love encouraging people. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, then do diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it. Do it cheerfully. You ever meet somebody who tries to serve, but they're grumpy all the time? Welcome to church. Just kidding. We don't let them on our team. In other words, use your gifts for other people. It doesn't anywhere in here say, man, if you're an encourager, encourage yourself a lot. Look in the mirror and say, man, you look good, even though you know last night you had a Venetian hour at a wedding where the walls opened up and then all of a sudden all this I had a chocolate milkshake shot. There was no alcohol in it, but it was like in a little thing. And I was like, is this just straight chocolate milk, by the way? I mean, chocolate, you know what I'm talking about? She's like, yeah. So it was amazing. I had like 40 of them. I felt it then. I'm still feeling it, actually. I am coming down from a sugar high from 2 days ago. That's how much sugar I had. Use your gifts. Use your gifts for other people. Don't consume, contribute. Why serve? That's the critical question. Number one, because Jesus did. I don't know about you, but I want to be more like Jesus. That's my goal in life, is to be more like Jesus. Live Jesus, give Jesus. Be Jesus with skin on the people. I want to be like Jesus. For God so loved, he gave. For God so loved, he gave. John 3:16. Saved people, serve people. Saved people, serve people. Any saved people in the house? Anybody that found Jesus and Jesus has found you? Come on, somebody clap, lift your hands, do something for me. Number two, the church is best expressed outside our walls. How can we express who we are if we keep it all right here? I need more ministries. I need more stuff. How about when's the last time you went and served at a soup kitchen? When's the last time you went out and helped somebody? When's the last time you did this, that, whatever? When's the last time a family member was in need? I had a lot of family members sleeping in my house last night because they're all in need. We did it. Why? It's not why I bought a new house, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do because the church, how can I come up here and preach today if I didn't do any of that? The church is best expressed outside of these walls. How are you using the blessings that God has given you? How are you using the car that God has blessed you with, the miracle stories you have, the home, the family that God has given you? How are you using those things? And there's a couple places to serve here coming up. A couple of cool things church-wide that we're going to do outside of our walls. Number one, flip Long Island a bird. It's where we gather turkeys. This year we want to raise over 200, over 250, 300, 350 turkeys. And we want to give them to organizations or people that could not have Thanksgiving dinner unless Church Unleashed showed up. Last year we got to do that, and it was an amazing experience going to drop those things off. Project Angel Tree. There are kids around Long Island that can't get Christmas gifts. And we as a church, I think last year we gave away like 193 $20 or $25 gift cards to children, teenagers who couldn't go to the store otherwise or would never, ever get another gift that last year for Christmas. That's what we do at church. That's how we express ourselves. Get involved in one of those things. Thirdly, it's a tangible expression of the love of God for lost humanity. There are people that need Jesus, straight up. And we can show it to them by how you ever have anybody tell you, man, the way you took from me really showed me God's love. The way you showed me, dangled that $10 bill in my face, turned around and bought yourself breakfast. Man, that was really like Jesus showed up in my life. Anybody ever say that to you? Probably not. Because when we give, we show Jesus' love, and it makes us irresistible to the world, number 4. Makes us irresistible to the world. People want more of what we have when we give it to them. They can't want what we have if we don't give it to them. They can't want what we have if we hold on to everything. You know the words serve, served, service, or servant appear 2,265 times in the Bible? God likes to talk about service. Why? Because service is important. Service is the way that we show other people. Romans 12 says this, never be lazy. How many people, that's your theme verse for life. Never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord. Just the way you said that, that's how we should serve the Lord. Enthusiastically. Serve the Lord enthusiastically. Man, get excited when you come to church. Get excited when you serve. Finally today, this will close here. Choose to live countercultural. Choose to live Our culture today is me. Mine. The more I get, the better I will feel. Yet you hear countless stories from people who have made it. People who have reached the top. People who have all the money they will ever need. They could fund countries to eat. And they say, man, it's lonely up here. Man, I can't get any more stuff. I need to get, and people need to give. Our culture always tells us to gather instead of giving. Giving breaks the back of materialism. As soon as you feel that welling up within you, give something away. Give something away. Look in your closet. How many shirts do you need? I have like 30 button-down shirts. Anybody want one? I will give you one. I don't need them. I wear like 3 in rotation. I preach in long t-shirts now. But sometimes we keep all this stuff because we think the more stuff we have, I might need this one day. I might use this one day. You always feel that way when you have kids. I won't know this for a little bit, but when you have kids, right? Mine. But sometimes we do that right here. Offering bucket comes around. Mine. Serving sign-ups come around. Mine. It's my time. Help my struggling aunt. Mine. It's going to inconvenience me a little bit. We were going to go pumpkin picking, and I got to help my aunt. It's only my aunt. If it was my mom. And we hang on to stuff. And mine becomes our favorite word, and there's a cure for this mind mentality. There's a cure for materialism. What is it? Becoming a contributor. Changing your mindset. When you change your mindset, you can change your action set. Consumers are materialistic, but contributors are missionistic. Allow me to make a new word. I'm coining missionistic. It will be in Webster's dictionary next year at this time. Missionistic, who's that? People who are consumed with the mission God has placed them on planet Earth for. Consumed with it. That means every decision I make goes towards my mission. Simon of Cyrene carrying the cross, every decision he made to take one more step was because he knew his mission was to get Jesus where Jesus needed to go. Jesus couldn't do what he had to do for us if he dropped that cross. He knew what his mission was. Here's what Solomon, wisest man ever, says in Proverbs about the materialist, about materialism. It says it robs them of life. If you want to feel alive again, if you feel dead in your walk with Christ, start giving. Start giving away. Give away your time, your talents, your treasures. Give away your time to serve. Give away your treasures. Give when we receive the offering, when we give to funds, when we give to hurricane relief. When we give, it gives us life as opposed to robbing us of life. Corrie ten Boom said this, the measure of life, after all, it's not its duration, but its donation. It's not its duration, but its donation. How much of yourself have you given? How much of yourself have you given to the cause of Christ? I know for a fact there's things stirring within people in this very room. Things that you know God has called you to do. Some people we've even had conversations with already. I'll look it up here. I need to step out in faith and say, you know what, man, I'm going to make the time to do this. A lot of people always say, I don't have time. You need to make time because you've made time to something else. Every yes is a no to something else. Every no is a yes to something else. Whatever you make time for shows what you prioritize in life. Refuse today to live with a consumer-driven faith. Let's live with a contributor faith with the mentality of I'm going to serve and I'm going to give to the kingdom of God. Here's where we'll really wrap up. I'm becoming a preacher. I had 2 conclusions today. G.K. Chesterton said this, there are 2 ways to get enough. One is to accumulate more and more, and the other is to desire less. When your goal is to accumulate more and more, you can never satiate that. You can never fulfill that. You can never take that to, you're just going to keep going. When you desire less, you learn how to be content. You learn how to be content with what you have, and you learn how to give. You learn how to be generous. Proverbs 21 says, some people are always greedy for more, but the godly love to give. The godly love to give. The godly love to give. In other words, the godly can't be greedy. The godly need to be generous. The godly can't be consumers. They need to be contributors. At this point in time, as the worship team comes back up, our guest relations team is going to come around really quick. And they're going to hand you something. They're going to hand you a card. It's the consumer versus contributor card. And on this card, you will have a decision. Everybody preemptively pull out a pen from the seat back in front of you. Everybody go ahead, pull out a pen. This is action. You're picking up your cross right here. Your cross is a very light blue pen. Picking that up. They're handing you this consumer versus contributor card. We're just going to get rid of consumer. We're going to call it a contributor card. And they're handing you this card. Actually, Jamie, can you hand me one really quick? I was supposed to bring one up here. It says, I refuse to only be a consumer. Everybody say, I refuse. On the back side, the flip side, it says, I am choosing. Remember, it's a choice. You have a choice to love God. You have a choice to wake up and read your Bible. You have a choice to love the people you're with. You have a choice to love your spouse. You have a choice to come to church. Everything you do is a choice. I am choosing to contribute. And there's a list of the ministries that we have at the church. Your response to the message today is checking off or X marking one of those lines, 2 of those lines, 3 of those lines, whatever you're interested in. Putting your name, your email, and your cell phone number on there. And you will get a call and or an email this week from our group leader, from our serving leader, And you're going to answer the call to contribute to God's kingdom. You're going to answer the call. Because we weren't called to consume anymore. We are called to contribute. Where can you help? Where can you answer God's call? Where can you give of your time? Remember, there's going to be people in here that are thinking, I wish I could, but I don't have time. If you're here today and you made time, you can make just a little bit extra time. All you have to do is come a little bit early so we can pray together and give you what you need for the day. And you can answer God's call. It's that easy.